Good evening. We are calling this meeting to order at 5:02. So we have 1.1 2020 VCCD ground rules and our board vision. And so it's here for trustees to be able to just reference as we are in our meeting. We have 1.2 Chancellor's recommendation of the agenda.
Recommended as presented.
Thank you. 1.3 changes to the agenda and also consent items to be pulled. As you can see, there have been some changes made to the agenda. We have items 4.1, and there was a change in the acknowledgement of a new employee. There was also item 17.2. There was also a change in the sabbatical leave recommendations for 2026-2027 for the agreement of the Ventura County Community College District and the Ventura County Federation of College Teachers, AFT Local 1828. Trustees, any consent items to be pulled at this time? No? Okay. Okay, so there's no consent, and I will ask also at another time during our meeting. So if there are no consent items to be pulled, we will now move on to closed session, and we anticipate to be back by 6:30. Thank you very much. Everyone, we are reconvening in open session now, and I am going to ask Trustee Mantooth if he can please lead us in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
And 3.2, there is nothing to report from closed session. 3.3, public comments. We didn't receive any written comments, and there's no public comments today. Okay. 3.4, I know trustees, there was nothing that was pulled earlier. Is there anything else that you would like pulled from the consent calendar? Okay. So 4.1, acknowledgement of new employees. We are very happy and we welcome all of the new employees who have joined the Ventura County Community College District family. It is a pleasure to be able to have us here with us, and welcome, and please know that the board is very extremely happy that you're here, and anything that you need, we are here to be of support and of service to you. And 4.2, we have recognition of the Ventura County Community College District retirees. And so I know that the retirees are also going to be acknowledged and recognized with each one of the different reports that we hear from the Senates. But on behalf of the board, thank you very much for your commitment and your service to our district over all these years. I know you've made such a difference in the lives of all of our students. So thank you very much for your hard work. And we wish you the well in this beautiful retirement time for you. 4.3, there is no acknowledgement. We don't have any guests or special recognitions at this moment. And we move on to consultations, and we begin with classified Senate. And I will start with, is it BC? Ventura College.
Agenda item 4.1, we want to congratulate the new employee that was hired, and his name is Rogelio Garcia. He's a sprinkler repair technician at Ventura College. We also want to acknowledge, we just had a big event, a set sail registration event, and we had over 230 students come and apply to the college, of 33 volunteers across student, classified staff, and faculty over 6 departments. With resource tables, we were able to serve 80 students with counseling, student IDs, and registration and financial aid. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oxnard College.
Hi, good evening, Chancellor, Board of Trustees, and guests. Berenice Rodriguez, Oxnard College Classified Senate President. Consultation with 4.2, I'd like to congratulate Donna Barrett and Lisa Putnam on their upcoming retirements. We wish them the best of luck and thank them for their time and dedication to our district. 6.4, I'd like to thank District Classified Senate President Diana Martin and the rest of her board for her invitation and warm welcome to their holiday luncheon. It was a really great opportunity to see our district colleagues in this type of setting. 6.7, welcome our new January hires, Carmen Reese Cuevas, the Administrative Assistant for Liberal Studies Department. She comes to us from Ventura College. And welcome Jamal Ahmed, our new Assistant Registrar. We look forward to working with both of them. And finally, 13.1, congratulations to Tim Fontanet, who has been recently appointed as the new Dean of Career Education.
Thank you. And I believe Moore Park College is joining us via Zoom.
Yes. Hi, good evening. Thank you for letting me join you on Zoom. My name is Kristen Robinson. For consultation 4.1, congratulations to and welcome to all newly appointed or promoted employees of the district. 4.2, recognition of retirees. Congratulations to all our retirees, but especially to Dr. Putnam, who committed almost 4 decades to the district, having started as a student staff member and ultimately working her way through a variety of roles, classified professional, faculty member, academic administrator. She's been a really committed leader and a role model, and we wish her the utmost contentment with her retirement. For 6.6 college presidents reports, it really brought me pride to read the various student success reports highlighted in our Moore Park College presidents report, and I applaud all of my colleagues and our students whose efforts led to these achievements. For 8.3 consent acceptance of gifts, we're really pleased to see the support of our athletic programs and our student athletes. And for 17.1 proposed VCCCD 2627 instructional calendar, I would like to say that if it's adopted, thank you to our district leadership for continuing to identify commencement dates that will least conflict with our students' finals, so that our students don't have to choose between taking a test or celebrating their academic achievements in 2027. And that's it for consultation from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Moore Park College. And we move to Academic Senate, Moore Park College.
I think Diana Martin might be online for District Classified Senate
Okay.
report.
Thank you. Diana?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor McLennan, Student Trustee Ayash, and members of the public. My name is Diana Martin, and I serve as the Classified Senate President for the District Administrative Center. This will be a quick one. So, consultation on 4.2, on behalf of our classified professionals, I'd like to recognize and thank Donna Barrett and Lisa Putnam for their years of service to the district. Donna has supported district finance with clarity and calm, and Lisa's decades of service from student worker to executive leadership reflect deep institutional knowledge and a legacy known across all 3 campuses. We extend our best wishes as they prepare for retirement, and we thank them for the dedication that they've shown to our operations and our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Moore Park College Academic Senate.
Evening, Chancellor, trustees, students, and colleagues. This is going to also be quick. For 4.2, we want to thank Lisa Putnam for all of her work throughout the district, including Moore Park College since August 1st, 1988. It's impressive. I'd also like to, let's see, I think I missed, regarding sabbatical, I believe it's number 17.2. We'd like to encourage the approval of the sabbatical leave recommendations. And number 18, we'd like to encourage approval of curriculum proposed by both Ventura College and Moore Park College. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College Academic Senate.
Garner, Ventura College Academic Senate President, and I want to encourage you to approve the sabbatical leave applications and offer best wishes for each of the sabbatical candidates in their projects and for some good rest and rejuvenation. Also recommend approval of the submitted curriculum from Ventura College and Moore Park College. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have Oxnard College maybe on Zoom? Academic Senate? No? Okay. We move on to Associated Student Government President's consultation, and we start with Moore Park College.
Hello, hi, sorry. I don't have a consultation for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
No consultation tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ventura College, I don't know if they're with us via Zoom, no? Okay. So we move on to reports, and the trustees have received reports, most of the reports. I know that we're going to start with 6.1 College Associated Student Government Reports, and we'll start with Moore Park College.
Okay, sorry, I'm out of my groove here. Okay. So we have our spring retreat. Hello, everyone. We have our spring retreat planned to take place at Moore Park College campus on January 30th, 2026. Goals for next semester, training over the summer, and we will be conducting 2 accessibility trainings on this date as well for our board members. The first for email communications and the second for accessibility of PDFs. And ASMC is working with Vice President Tiffany Beam on a constitutional referendum regarding the decision to vote on chartering of student clubs and organizations. And then we did have a vacant position of the Director of Student Organizations, which will be filled hopefully the following week. And after meeting with Access students, it has come to my attention that Moore Park College has and more specifically ASMC, has a lot of room for growth with concern to accessibility and accommodation issues. So ASMC will be voting on a document that I create for ACMM, and that's the accessibility compatibility maturity model. And it's presented by the California Community Colleges Accessibility Center. And I quote, it's a transformative framework designed to guide colleges and districts in advancing digital accessibility. So I seek, with the help of cohorts and other students at the Moore Park Access Center, to identify gaps that need bridging with concerns to accessibility. And this is really exciting and very much needed. And we are also in the process of creating resolutions. And that's it.
Thank you, Moore Park College. Oxnard College.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ariana Villos Castillo. Oh my gosh, why can't I speak? My name is Ariana Villos Castillo, OCHG president. My oral report for today is Happy New Year's, everyone. Haven't seen you guys since last year. And just OCHG is currently in the process of filling vacant positions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. AFT, any reports for AFT? No? SEIU, any reports? Okay. Classified Senate President reports. We'll start with the DAC. I believe she's on Zoom. If there's anything you wanted to add to your report.
No, thank you.
Okay. Moore Park College.
Thanks so much for reading the written report. Nothing further.
Thank you. Oxnard College. Okay. Ventura College. Okay. Academic Senate President's reports. Moore Park College.
Hello, I just have one thing to announce, which is a save the date for our end of year awards and brunch on May 12th, 2026. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College.
At a meeting last Thursday, after the written reports were submitted, Ventura College Academic Senate passed a resolution affirming inclusive recognition and appreciation for all faculty at Ventura College, and has asked that I read this to the board. Whereas the Ventura College Academic Senate values the contributions of all faculty members, both full-time and part-time, who uphold the college's missions through excellence in teaching, service, and leadership. And whereas all faculty, regardless of employment status, actively contribute to student success, campus life, and the continuous improvement of academic programs. And whereas the Academic Senate recognizes that meaningful acknowledgement and appreciation foster a culture of belonging, collegiality, and mutual respect across the campus community. And whereas distinctions in employment status should never diminish the visibility, impact, or value of any faculty member's professional contributions, therefore, be it resolved that the Ventura College Academic Senate affirms its commitment to recognizing and celebrating the achievements of all faculty, full-time and part-time alike, through equitable consideration and access to awards, honors, and nominations. And be it further resolved that the Academic Senate encourages ongoing collaboration and dialogue to ensure that recognition processes remain inclusive, transparent, and representative of the shared excellence of our faculty community, and be it finally resolved that this resolution stands as a statement of unity, gratitude, and shared purpose for part-timers as an integral part of our departments, divisions, and greater campus instructional faculty community, acknowledging that every faculty member at Ventura College plays a vital role in the success of our students and the strength of our institution. Thank you.
Thank you. Ventura College President. Trustee Chancellor.
Or I had a comment, question on the report.
Mhm.
I just wanted to acknowledge when I was reading through the reports for Ventura College Academic Senate, there were 398 courses submitted. And let's see here, 59 new courses and 248 courses for review. A lot of work went into that, obviously, but I just noticed the numbers were there. So I just wanted to say thank you for that hard work. And the second comment was, there was a paragraph that said part-time faculty recognition. I don't know if that connects to your resolution, but it says discussions are underway regarding internal awards for adjunct faculty and student workers. And I think that's wonderful to do, because I know once a year we recognize our classified employees. And it would be, I think it's a good model maybe to open that up at a district level to recognize student workers and also our faculty. So thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Chancellor. Ventura College President.
Can you hear me? Oh,
Yes.
there we go. Greetings, trustees. Folks, thank you so much. Nothing further to add from Ventura College.
Thank you. Oxnard College.
Good evening, Chancellor McLennan, Board Chair Torres. Nothing further to add for Oxnard College.
Thank you. Moore Park College.
Good evening, trustees, Chancellor McLennan. I do have a few additional items for the board report. We have been selected on Wednesday, February 4th to present to the Equitable Placement and Completion AB 705 English Spotlight on Moore Park College. I want to congratulate Dean Oleg Bespalov, Professor Tracy Tenenhouse, and our RP group member, Mallory Newell. This webinar presents a spotlight on Moore Park College, who has developed a culture of collaboration between their English department and their research office to explore outcomes for student and English C1000. The webinar is intended for English faculty, administrators, and institutional research professionals interested in collaborating, on AB 705 efforts. Additionally, $25,000 were awarded by Ventura County Community Foundation to support Moore Park College Raider Central Basic Needs Center. The funds will support purchase of food items, staffing, and outreach. We were also part of a group called Elevate. It's Jobs for the Future. And Moore Park College is invited to join colleges by Jobs for the Future. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Trustee Mantooth.
Not a question, just a comment. Wanted to say thank you to all three of the colleges for this month's report focus on transfers and career education data. Very positive, very good. Keep it up.
6.7 District Office Reports, Business Services Office. Anything to report? Okay, nothing additional. Institutional effectiveness. Anything else to report? Okay, human resources. Okay, IT. Okay. 6.8 board Trustee Mantooth.
One more time. I think Trustee Chancellor may have something to say also. I'm trying to remember where it was. It might have been in business services, but really pleased to see the report. And I think the two gentlemen at the back of the room will also be happy to know that we're almost at full strength in campus police.
Thank you. Trustee Chancellor.
Thank you again for all the reports. I just wanted to
follow-up in the IE report. There were two sections. One was on monthly fraud reporting. The other one was on weekly enrollment management reporting. Is there a way that the board can get a monthly email in some way? You know, we've kind of brought that up, but that would update the board on enrollment and also on the fraud.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I also want to acknowledge, you know, a lot of people, students and board members, whoever, you know, we get a lot of our information now on through social media. And I learned, I've recognized that our old VCCCD social media account seemed to have ended or died. And the last post was on July 21st, 2025. And there's a new Instagram account that I learned today through the report, which is the CCVC. And it was started on December 12th. So for everyone out there, there's a new Instagram account.
Thank you. 6.8, we have our board committee reports. And 6.8.1, Administrative Services Committee, it says there's no items. So I believe the two committees, also 6.8.2, Planning Accreditation and Student Success Committee, which has passed. No meetings took place in the month of January. And then we have our 6.83 Board Policy Ad Hoc Committee. And we are going to be scheduling our meetings. And so both Trustee Lichto and myself are part of this ad hoc committee. And so you'll notice that this is added to the agenda because we will also be providing just like an update of where we are with the board policy chapter 2, just for the board so they're aware in terms of meetings and policies that we're taking a look at. So we'll also provide monthly report out so the entire board is informed of where we are in terms of the charge that we have with our ad hoc committee. And so we haven't met. And so the goal is that we also meet this upcoming month so we can also provide monthly updates to you.
And I believe we have a meeting on the books already for in the next couple of weeks, I believe.
We may.
Is that correct?
We may have one already. I would have to double check my calendar, but perhaps we do. And so we'll be able to just report back, just like the two standing committees that we have. So with this, Trustee Chancellor?
I would just like to see if there's an interest. I certainly am interested in starting an ad hoc committee. And it would be hopefully just one meeting, but it would be an ad hoc committee on boardroom. I don't want to call it decor, but hopefully coming up with some parameters on putting some student artwork up in this boardroom. So I think that would be, and I read a quote and it says, the boardroom is only as strong as the student voices and creativity reflected on its walls. And I thought that sounded pretty good. So if there's any interest in an ad hoc committee, it would be hopefully a one-time meeting, but I would certainly like to work with somebody.
Okay.
If I would be appointed to that.
Is there an interest from the board to be able to have an ad hoc committee to work on student art?
I would be interested in hearing more about that.
Okay. Any other interest from board? Okay. Okay, so we have consensus. And so we'll go ahead and we'll add an ad hoc committee that looks specifically to the artworks that represents the student voice in our boardroom. And the ad hoc committee can just maybe present to us a charge at the next meeting, what they're going to be looking at. And if it's based on college, all three colleges at once. And then we do have our student trustee who's willing to, is it to hear more about it? Or are you interested in being part of the ad hoc committee alongside with Trustee Chancellor?
I definitely want to hear more about it, but I am definitely interested in joining and being a part of it and just hearing more about and learning more about for the students.
Is there an interest from the board and a board member to be part of this ad hoc committee?
I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Pachowski. So we have Trustee Chancellor and Trustee Pachowski who will be part of the ad hoc committee with our student trustee coming to hear more about it and perhaps at that time determine if he wants to be part of the committee as well. Okay, thank you. So with this, we move to our approval of the consent calendar.
Chair Torres,
Trustee Pachowski.
I know we joked about this before, but I do actually have one small change to the minutes. I don't think that necessarily requires pulling it off the consent calendar. I had sent this to staff earlier, but well, not, I don't see it in here. Holding up now. Just on item 6.8.2 from the last meeting, it says that I reported that the 3C2A has a Title IX lawsuit. It was not a lawsuit, it was a complaint. So it's just changing the word lawsuit to complaint. And with that, I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
Okay, so we have approval of the consent calendar made by trustee Pachowski, followed by trustee Mantooth. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, consent calendar motion passes, and our first action item, 15, okay, 15.1. So, this is teacher leave reimbursement for substitute for trustee Joshua Chancellor.
Chair Torres,
Trustee Lichto,
move to approve this item as submitted.
is there a second? Okay, so motion made by trustee Lichto, seconded by trustee Mantooth to approve the reimbursement for substitute for trustee Joshua Chancellor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Abstain.
Thank you. And trustee Josh abstained.
True man.
Okay, 16.1, there are no items under business and administrative services. 17.1, we have the proposed Ventura County Community College District 2026-2027 instructional calendar. So I'm assuming this is for a motion. I don't see it an action item, but is this only informational? Action? I'm assuming it's action. Action, okay. Is there,
Chair Torres, I have a question.
trustee Lichto?
Is this negotiated with our bargaining units?
Yes, it is.
It's a negotiable item?
Yeah.
In that case, I'll make the motion to approve the item as submitted.
Is there a second? Okay. So motion made by trustee Lichto, seconded by trustee Pachowski to approve as submitted the instructional calendar for the 2026-2027 school year. Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. 17.2, we have the sabbatical leave recommendations for 2026-2027. Trustees, questions, motions?
Was there a change to this item?
There
I
was,
believe there was a change to this item. If we could review that first, that would be great.
absolutely. So you will see at the very beginning of the agenda where it says changes to the agenda. So it's under 1.3 and it's listed there, the item at 17.2 sabbatical leave recommendations. And you'll notice that there's also a bullet point and it says in the body of the sabbatical proposal summary for rank 5, the college was corrected from Ventura to Oxnard College. And for rank 9, the college was corrected from Ventura to Moore Park College. Thank you, trustee Mantooth. Is there a second? Seconded by trustee Chancellor. Okay, so we have a motion made by trustee Mantooth, seconded by trustee Chancellor. Discussion.
We get to see the introductions of these proposals and they're sure exciting. I just did notice that 12, it sounds like there's 14 eligible, but this year we only had 12. Is that because we didn't have, what was the reasoning that normally we have like a wait list, I think, or something. I don't think that's the right terminology.
Yeah, those were the ones that were submitted and we didn't end up with a wait list, so everybody got approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Exciting. Thank you.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the table that was made by trustee Mantooth and it was seconded by trustee Chancellor. Is there any further discussion? Okay, trustees, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. We move on to institutional effectiveness, 18.1, Moore Park College curriculum.
Chair Torres,
Trustee Lichto,
move to approve 18.1 and 18.2 Moore Park and Ventura College curriculum.
Second.
it was at the same time. Y-
I'll defer to, okay.
Okay,
Guys, don't defer, we don't have a vote.
so we,
I'll take it.
okay, so we have a motion made by trustee Lichtel to approve both 18.1 and 18.2, which is the Moore Park College curriculum, as well as the Ventura College curriculum. It was seconded by trustee Pachowski. Trustees, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Both motions pass. And we move on to the chancellor's report, 19.1. Yay, congratulations. Congratulations.
And, so we have until. Thank you. We have until April 30th to keep doing this, as many times in public as possible. And the reason, I think you'll all appreciate this and understand that the efforts of this entire executive team in terms of the outreach and the collaboration and the engagement within the community is substantial and formidable. And at the very forefront of all that is Dr. Herrera. You can't throw a rock anywhere in Ventura County and not hit somebody who she has and engaged with in a very constructive way, furthering our mission as a district. And so she's everywhere. She knows just about everybody, and she's very well respected for very good reason. And this is a wonderful recognition. I couldn't be more pleased to see her being the recipient. So congratulations. Did you want to give a speech or okay. Let's go on to the next item, which is so we've broken this up in a couple different ways. Tonight, we're going to talk about the statewide legislative priorities. The governor, as you know, released his tentative budget just a few weeks ago, last week, actually. Anyway, and what we've done is distilled out some items on there relative to that, or relevant to that we think are important. And by the way, this is just a summary sheet. The board will receive more full descriptions with numbers and actual impact on our colleges. We have that. We're still putting that together. There's a small group headed to Sacramento this weekend to participate in some legislative advocacy, and want to make sure that we have these items up front. So the first item is deferred maintenance, and there's a modest amount in the governor's proposal for deferred maintenance. We could almost eat that amount up entirely with our three colleges, not quite, but pretty close. And again, we'll be getting those numbers to you, but this was something that was put on hold by the state for really the last several years, and we're definitely want to see this come back. The second item is is support for Veterans Resource Centers. Trustee Mantooth has been part of the Veterans Caucus, statewide caucus, for community colleges, along with me and several others, advocating for more support for our veterans centers. We put together a prospectus, I guess, that raised support from the annual allocation to all 116 colleges of $10 million to add another $45 million to that. The chancellor's office put $2 million in that budget. So it is being supported by the Chancellor's office. It's a fraction of what we're looking for advocacy, but this will be distributed. If we're successful, it'll more than double the amount of support for veteran students and veteran centers to the 116 colleges. We have a one-page advocacy piece that we're developing right now that will have not just for our trustees, but for people around the system, including the caucus, that you should be receiving in the next day or so. So we were really pleased to see that in the Chancellor's budget. Instructional and workforce policy, 3.1, that should be obvious. The applied bachelor degree expansion, including any advocacy we can do. We think we're just about over the hump with this one, but for the Moorpark College Applied Cyber Defense Program, that got a very good review at the Board of Governors meeting last week. But the idea of applied baccalaureates that are regional, they're affordable, they're local, and they meet our workforce demands is going to continue to be an advocacy item for the system and certainly for our district. Restoration of the $60 million in strong workforce, item 3.2. That $60 million was peeled out to support the baccalaureate and nursing degree initiative that was vetoed by the governor. We're asking that money be restored to strong workforce, and it'll go through the distribution model to the regional strong workforce boards or consortiums. And then, I skipped over, I'm sorry, the student housing, if we can go back up to 1.2. I've reported on this in the past. It is active, but the underfunded student housing project, there's a mechanism for those funds to be recaptured. We have an application in, and again, we'll have the numbers and who the contacts are for that we'll be providing to the board for advocacy at least over the next couple weeks. And then categorical programs down to item number 4, which and there's a whole math equation here that shows the amount of no, I'm going to get that confused. I apologize. If all the categorical programs had been funded with COLAs, the amount of money between what we're receiving today would be substantial. We are advocating for the full COLA to be not only applied to those that the governor has indicated they would be applied to, but to have them also applied to those categorical programs that do not receive COLA. And again, we'll have those more information and numbers on that for the board as well. And then the artificial intelligence, there's a strong need system-wide for advocacy, for training, and for resources to support the policy direction of colleges in the system around artificial intelligence. And so I'll stop there and just open it up for questions. I may be able to provide some additional detail on some of these items right now, but again, the board will receive a fuller picture of these items with numbers and impacts before the Sacramento trip.
Thank you. Any questions from the trustees? The Chancellor? No. Trustee Chancellor? No? Okay.
Just one of the things I'm also excited to see on this list, or I don't know if it's a list, but on priorities, is we're going to have a list of certain projects that have funding that's come from the state that we can actually acknowledge and kind of say thank you, but also acknowledge the impact that those projects are having. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so those are thank yous and updates, and that's the format that we're putting those in terms, and there aren't a lot of them, but there are some meaningful ones that the board will receive again, either tomorrow or Thursday, both at the state level and then for the trip to Washington, D.C. to be able to sure we can thank our federal partners, and a similar list with items that we need to advocate for at the national level as well.
Chair Torres.
Trustee Lichto.
Related to item 4.2, I'm wondering if at some point the board can receive information as to the efforts that are being made in relation to AI, specifically how it's being implemented or not. I know there's maybe concerns from certain segments of our faculty or staff related to AI, and those are all legitimate. At the same time, I think AI has the potential to, it's here, not going anywhere. It's only going to continue to progress, probably on a weekly basis. So, I'd be curious to see how we're planning to implement AI into our instructional practice and our assessment, and what that means for future learning. I'd also like to know at some point related to AI jobs, and what, from a workforce standpoint, we are doing as a district to prepare our students for that inevitable job market that is probably going to replace many existing jobs. So, we've said for 30 years in education that we don't know what the jobs of the future look like, so we have to get our students ready for, critical thinking skills and have the skills to succeed as learners and as not necessarily producers of something in particular, but just be thoughtful. And I think that's even more important now with AI coming into place. So I think this would be an area where the board should be focusing on, because I think it has the biggest impact, could have the biggest impact on our teaching and our learning, and therefore our student success. So that's a lot. I apologize, but I think it's an important topic.
It's obviously a big topic everywhere, and certainly within our system and within our district and within our colleges. The board will be receiving, actually, at the February board meeting, a proposed AI policy. We are currently working through a procedural piece of that. It's going through the participatory governance process right now, and there's a lot around that, more so than the actual policy itself. We hope to have both of those items ready, one for approval and one for information, in time for the February meeting. And I would guess that this is going to become a standing item that we're going to be talking about a lot. Even as we develop policy and procedures, we already know that it's going to have to be at best an annual review of those things, and maybe more so, more frequently. I had the opportunity to, it's almost embarrassing at this point, to write an article about my experience with artificial intelligence after attending a focused CEO workshop, 3-day workshop on artificial intelligence about a year ago. And please don't look it up. I'm not commending that to anybody. But what I've learned is don't write any articles about AI, because about the minute you do that, it's in a whole different place. So we're having extensive conversations throughout the district, certainly at the leadership level, and we want the board to be up to speed and in at least with an understanding of the issues and helping us around the policy development.
And I appreciate that. I'm glad there's discussions happening. I just, as one board member, and I really would like to solicit the rest of the board on some thoughts on this. I hope that our decision-making and those conversations are driven by the prospects for the future with AI, as opposed to a fear-driven conversation about the unknown. And because it's really simple for us to find faults with AI, certainly, but at the same time, it's here to stay, and we need to use it as a tool. We need to use it as an instructional tool, as a learning tool. And I just hope that we approach it from that standpoint. And again, not from the standpoint of this is something to be shunned, it's going to make our lives more difficult, or it's going to make it easier for students, what have you. It's really incumbent on us to learn how to integrate the artificial intelligence into our programs, because that's what's really going to help our students be successful for the future. And again, I'd like to hear from other board members, because I think that it's important for the board, and obviously I'm not pointing a gun at anybody, but I think it's important for us to take a policy stance on this kind of issue. And I know there's a policy forthcoming, but it's important for us to, this is the kind of direction I want to be leading, is where does this go? Because this is going to impact student learning, student progress, and success.
Trustee Mantooth.
Per your invitation for comment, I would agree that it is inexorable and that we need to find the best way possible to ride that tiger.
Chair Torres,
Trustee Pachowski.
I concur with both Trustee Lichtel and Trustee Mantooth. I just want to add that back on Convocation Day at the start of this school year, there was a absolutely fantastic presentation at Moore Park College on the topic of AI. Everybody in the room got a very brief synopsis on the history and you know how we got to where we are, and so anybody that didn't walk in there with a good understanding of it walked out with at least a decent understanding of you know where it's at. And so I think that was certainly a step in the right direction, and maybe maybe we as a board need to get a similar presentation. I don't know, but it was just a absolutely terrific presentation from one of our Moore Park College professors, and so I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you.
Hey, if that presentation was by any chance recorded, if we could get access to where to go for that link
I
to review
don't
it.
know if it was.
I was there as well. It was a good, it was a sort of a dimensional piece of it. It wasn't a but it was a
Yeah, it's a really good presentation.
about large language learning models, what they do, what they
Yeah.
don't do, and that sort of thing. I know others have comments, but I do think that, and Dan, I'm not going to put you on the spot right now, or others, but one of the things that we're learning about as we're having these discussions is it's not all, opposition. It just depends on what the intent is, what the use is, what's driving that. But it's across the board, as you can imagine, in terms of how people feel about it, also about what the experiences are and the exponential growth and of applications and uses. And I think, as I'm thinking about the policy, that the policy is really grounded in supporting movement and consideration that's responsible and is trying to make it as safe as we can for some data issues and other things like that. And certainly there's an equity issue around this as well in terms of access to tools. So it might be, as we start rolling this policy through for consideration, it might be useful this could be a good subject for a focused, board study session, just because there's so many different pieces of it. There is certainly the workforce part of it. There's the learning part of it. And I wasn't in this particular meeting, but there was a recent meeting where we had an external participant listening to some of our folks talk about artificial intelligence. One of the voices was fairly negative about that, and that we needed to protect our institutions from it. And this external person who represented business and industry said, if you do that, you're missing the boat, because employers are going to demand that the people we send to them are literate in these technologies and can adapt that learning to the use in our particular enterprise. So there's a lot around this. It's a big topic. We know that there's some legislators in the state that are interested in legislating some things around artificial intelligence as it applies to community colleges in particular. And so we're engaging in those conversations as well. But I do think a study session, perhaps in the February timeframe, if we can find a way to get that on. They're so easy to schedule. So, yeah. But I do think it would be worth it's one of it is one of those existential technologies that's going to have a big impact on us. Already is.
So Trustee Lichtel, I just want to make sure, since we're talking of a potential study session, some of the things you mentioned was you'd like to know a little bit more of how it's being implemented in terms of instructional practice, assessment, future learning. Also, how are we preparing our students for the job market with workforce? And I just some of those main points that I just want to make sure they were captured. So as the staff moves forward, they have an idea of what trustees want to see, because that helps as they prepare for study sessions, that they capture some of our interests. So is that right? Anything else?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think the more important piece is that as a board, I think it's important that we send a message that we want these discussions again to be driven by some future thinking aspects as opposed to, a concern or a fear, not a fear-driven conversation, but instead, what's the potential for AI in our classrooms, for our learning? How it's being implemented is one thing, but really more of how are we seeing it? How are we viewing AI from the standpoint of its potential? Because, it's funny, if you ask anybody about AI, they're going to say ChatGPT, right? That's like infant now. That's an afterthought. I mean, with everything coming out, I think that's my point, is that I want to make sure that our discussions are led by forward-thinking attitudes of the potential for artificial intelligence in everything that we do. Because quite frankly, that's the future.
Could I make a comment, please?
Absolutely. Student trustee.
I wanted to add on to what you guys said regarding AI. It's a fact for sure that AI is continuing to grow. It's going to keep on growing and growing. But I think, at least as a student's perspective, for teachers to, in a sense, say, like, do not use AI. In a sense, I feel like AI could be really useful and helpful for students in terms of giving us, in terms of, like, if we want to do quizzes on there, it's easier for us to do instead of what maybe the teacher gives us a study guide instead of reading like many pages. So I feel like if teachers were to implement more of like a strategy, like maybe we can use a certain type of, not AI to like use it as to cheat, of course, but rather to use it as a form of helping. I feel like it makes more students, not saying that students cheat, obviously I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying can be people use it and they will continue to use it. So in a way, instead of shutting it down and kind of saying people like, do not use AI, blah, blah, people will still find a way to go around it. And that's not just for students, but that's for a lot of people and workforces too. So I would say instead of shunning it, I would say for teachers, they should have a way to implement it in a way where students can use it without having the need to go around the system. Not saying that they would, that's an assumption, but just hypothetically.
Thank you. Trustee Chancellor.
My only suggestion is I don't know if we need a special board meeting, as the pendulum swings in these board meetings, we used to go into the midnight hour. And here we are approaching I don't want to, don't do it. All right. I won't
Don't do it.
But
Don't do it. Don't go there.
my suggestion is if maybe we are getting more efficient and better at our work, that we can sort of schedule monthly presentations that are 20 minutes that can go over these topics. Because I actually believe the innovation, yes, there's much more happening in the future, but it's already happening within the classrooms of our 3 colleges right now. I was looking over the shoulders of a student taking, actually is one of the professors that has come recently for public comment, Sebastian de Klerk, and it's an English course. And the way he's using AI in that class is remarkable. We just approved tonight a course at Ventura College, and it has AI in its title. I'm trying to see here. So for me, I don't need a study session to ask a lot of questions because I don't know the questions to ask. I would like a presentation on how AI maybe where we've been and where we're going and the effectiveness in the district, and have that be a starting place for me.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So thank you, Trustee Chancellor. And I think that's kind of where I was going. I think it would be helpful for the board to have us let us share our conversations with you, not just as an executive cabinet, but as 3 colleges and the conversations that are happening, some structured and some informally throughout the district, and what our concerns are, what our hopes are, what our aspirations are, risk, reward, all of those things are part of the mix. And, but again, I think we're going to have to make a commitment to do that on some frequency because of the rapidly evolving, nature of this. But to your point, Trustee Chancellor, I mean, that's exactly the kind of conversation I think that would be, and we could do that at a regular board meeting. I would probably ask Dr. Watkins to help get us started on that. He's been instrumental in leading a lot of the conversations around the district and really on a statewide level as well. So happy to do that.
Thank you, Chancellor. With this, we move on to trustee reports, and we'll start with our student trustee.
Thank you. I first want to say, okay, mine's also really, really brief, so I just want to keep it short. I first want to say thank you so much to Lisa for everything that you've done for me as student trustee for your semester. It was hard for me at first being here, not really knowing anything, and Lisa really did take me under her wing, and so did Michelle, of course, and helped me out. And I'm really glad to now be working with Chelsea. I know we're going to do great things, and I just want to say thank you again for Lisa. And then for student trustee, because I'm the student trustee caucus chair, I do want to say, because it's a public meeting, we have our meeting most likely next week on Thursday. And I do want to also say thank you to Sophia Manavi, who is the secretary, and then Matthew Cadell, who is the vice chair. And then I also lastly plan on, I'm going to the DC trip for the ACCT happening in February. I'll have, of course, more to discuss, when that time comes, the day after my birthday, just in case putting that out there. The day after my birthday, we have the the board of trustees meeting again. So I'll have more to discuss then. And lastly, my birthday, member February 18th. And lastly, I plan on, of course, visiting the campuses more often this semester. And also, I know I said this last semester, but now I'm going to hold this under oath. I do really plan on meeting up with you guys really one-on-one and actually getting to know you guys more, because you guys are my coworkers. And then, of course, you, Chancellor McLennan, if you ever have the time, you're such a busy guy. So I'm just hoping you can make time for me. But anyways, thank you so much. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, student trustee. Trustee Lichtel.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all, and best wishes to Lisa, and thank you for all the work that you've done on behalf of the district and guided us along.
Thank you. Trustee Mantooth.
The brevity, ditto.
Trustee Pachowski.
Happy New Year, everyone. Lisa, thank you. I hope you enjoy your retirement. I'm looking forward to both this weekend up in Sacramento at the league conference. I'll be there all 4 days. So you've got the trustee workshop followed by the legislative summit on Monday, or Sunday and Monday. So I'll be there all weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. Also looking forward to going back to DC again, and I know that was a lot of fun last year, especially when we had snow.
That is always fun. Thank you. Trustee Chancellor.
I want to keep it brief. One of the meetings that I attended, it's a quarterly meeting, and I was joined by President Lewis, Chancellor McLennan, and James Zavas from Ventura College. And it is a meeting that we attend with 2 city council members, the city manager, usually 2 trustees from Ventura Unified, and the superintendent. And we're able to discuss some things that align through the college and our district and the city itself. And one of the things that came up was enrollment and cost of living. So it was interesting to talk about that, and even to see what Ventura Unified is doing with workforce housing, and potentially that could be a model for our district. One of the things that was, the participants were eager as we just went over the legislative priorities. Everyone in the room, it just goes to show how we're all kind of eyes on the prize. They were very eager for us to share those legislative priorities with the whole group, both the school district and the city of Ventura. And then there's also was a request for, by myself, but an interest from the group for a single sheet of sort of all of the programs where students can get certificates that can lead to higher wage positions that we can develop for our 3 colleges. And Happy New Year, of course. Congratulations to Lisa on her retirement. And I do have a short statement I want to read about name changes. So this is an important one to me, and I feel that I got to read this one. So for more than 2 years, I've raised repeated concerns about the district's use of the name Community Colleges of Ventura County and the abbreviation CCVC. Each time I was told that the district's name had not officially changed. However, after reviewing the new logo, the district's social media accounts, and official communication using this name, it is now clear that a de facto name change has occurred. This matters. The name of a public education district is not a cosmetic or marketing decision. It is a governance decision that belongs to the Board of Trustees. Any change, formal or informal, should be discussed openly, vetted publicly, and approved by the board. None of this happened here. As a trustee, I am frustrated that the shift occurred without board approval, board discussion, or even meaningful board input, despite my repeated efforts to raise the issue. This is not how shared governance work, and it is not consistent with the respective roles of the board and administration. This situation reflects a broader concern about transparency and respect for board authority. Trustees are elected to represent the public and provide oversight. When decisions of this magnitude are made unilaterally, it undermines accountability and good governance. I am asking for this issue to be addressed openly and formally with clarity about how this name change occurred, under what authority, and how the board will be involved in any future decisions affecting the district's identity. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Chancellor.
Chair Torres, if I may.
Absolutely, Trustee
realized that
Petrovsky.
I left one thing out. This is just such an important issue here in the county. I wanted to mention it. Tomorrow night in Simi Valley, Sir Optimist International is having a human trafficking awareness forum. It starts at 6 o'clock at the Simi Valley Unified Methodist Church at 2394 Erringer Road in Simi Valley. You can go to their website to register, siroptimistcv.org, or you can show up. I know I've been to it before. It's a very worthwhile presentation. I know they're going to have law enforcement leaders there along with survivors. And it's just one of those issues that's really, really important here in the county because there's a lot of trafficking going on in Ventura County. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pachowski. So Trustee Chancellor is asking, he has an interest in having maybe it could be a presentation within a board meeting to understand more the name change and how the process of how it took place, the informal. Is there consensus from the board to want to get more information just on how that came about from community colleges of Ventura County?
There's actually been a change?
So there's and so here's my understanding.
I guess maybe there should be a question posed. This doesn't sound like it's on. There should be a question posed if we've changed our brand. If we are now the community colleges of Ventura County, or if we continue to be the Ventura County Community College District.
So what I've seen, I see both. So I know that there is marketing material that says Community Colleges of Ventura County. And so the legal name may be Ventura County Community College District. But when I'm hearing Trustee Chancellor say the board wasn't part of the process to say my nickname is not going to be Community Colleges of Ventura County. And if I'm understanding correctly, even if it's a nickname, the board being involved in that process and saying, hey, this is what we're going to call ourselves, because it's just a name that perhaps it's easier, it's more well received. Those are the things, if I'm understanding correctly, we don't know, and perhaps those are the reasons. So he's just asking, I want to know more information about how that came about, the process, why this name. And so that's where I'm trying to get, just like we did with AI, just consensus from the board if it's something that we want to explore, so that way the chancellor also knows with his staff just to put a presentation, and it can be like in one of our meetings, just like we talked about AI 20 minutes. I mean, I don't know how long it would take, but that's what I'm understanding. But I just want to get from the board if that's the wish of the board.
Chair Torres, I'm having a hard time putting this item in the same basket as AI. And so I'll reserve any future comments. And I guess, quite frankly, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. We've got 3 great colleges. We got people doing great work. The district's going in a great direction, whether we call it the Ventura County Community College District or the Community Colleges of Ventura County or 3 schools in our neighborhood. It really, let's continue the work. You know, again, I'm not sure this is all that important to me, so I'll defer to you guys.
Chair Torres.
Trustee Pachowski.
I think, well, in the big scheme of things, I agree with Trustee Lichtel. I mean, it's certainly lower on the scale of priorities, but at the same time, I understand it's also still needs to be a priority for the very simple reason that our board policies lay out that the board is the district and the board owns the names Ventura College, Moore Park College, Oxnard College, along with the mascot names. And that all of that is, can only be used with permission of the district. But the phrase community colleges of Ventura County is not mentioned in our board policies at all. And so if that's something we're going to be using, I do think we need to update our board policies to include that. And that was never brought to the board.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Pachowski. Trustee Mantooth?
Not going to be using, we are using. But I think there might be a simpler way to deal with this, at least initially. And that would be just ask for our chancellor to provide us with a written clarification of the difference between what our legal name is versus one that rolls off the tongue, frankly, easier, and what the intent and what we see happening in the use of that name going forward. And if that's not satisfactory, then we'll bring it up again and see whether we need more of a spotlight on it.
Trustee Chancellor, so I'm in support of receiving information about the names. I think it's just good anytime we have our trustees that want more information. I'd like to be able to just provide that information so there's that clarity. And to your point, there's a transparency of the process. How did it take place? But since you raised the question, Trustee Chancellor, would you like a written report first and then a conversation, or would you rather just have the conversation? There is a consensus of the board to be able to have more information. There's a suggestion of having a written report first, but we wanted to hear your thoughts.
I think a written report is great. And then if the chancellor wants to add anything in his chancellor's report at our next meeting, that'd be amazing.
Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Yeah,
Chancellor?
I probably shouldn't, but I think I need to because of the public nature of the concern that's been brought up. Frankly, surprised of the way it came up this evening. I certainly didn't have any opportunity to prepare for this discussion. But I would remind the board that from the very first time that expression was used, the board was informed and explained what it was that the district was doing by using that term, and very explicitly stating that until and if we decided to change the name formally, if that time came, that the board would, it's full prerogative of the board to make that decision. As I think back over the last 2 years, as that phrase has been used, it's been used in terms of promoting certain things like the district-wide strategic planning process. And even in those documents where it was listed as CCVC 2035, at the bottom of the document, it said Ventura County Community College District. So there was never any confusion that we were something different than we were. I can certainly write something up. We have not changed our name. We are registered officially as the Ventura County Community College District. But again, I'm a little surprised the way this came, and the sort of the rendition of the history of how we got here is a little different than my experience, but I'm happy to clarify that in writing.
Thank you, Chancellor. I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. It's great to be able to see everyone here smiling. And just want to thank you for all of the hard work that everybody does within your colleges, your departments. It's noted, and your reports. Thank you for also caring about students, doing the runs of food that they can come and pick up. Volunteers being there during the hot hours, no matter the raining, I think during the rain as well, handing out food to students on those Fridays. And so really thank you on behalf of the board for going above and beyond and doing those things, the instructional piece, consistently being able to see transfer rates, but also faculty engaging in conversations of what can you do to better support our students meet those student outcomes that we look for from our classified staff, and being able to receive our students and having your own PD in terms of how to better support the work. And it shows just the amazing collaboration that happens within our colleges, that when I honestly, I kid you not, I read the reports and I'm thinking, well, maybe these are some of the things that I can start implementing myself. And it's always such a joy and such thorough. And so I appreciate so much your time that you spend here with us. Everything that you do. I wish there was time to have conversations individually with all of you, but really from the bottom of our hearts of the board, thank you for everything that you do. Please let know all of your constituents who you represent. I know they're not here in the room, but you're here representing many people, that we are very thankful for everything that they do. And for the district staff, I know you're always with so many things that you're doing. Thank you so much for your leadership, your innovation, and what you bring to our district. Trustees, it's always such a pleasure to be able to work with you. Thank you for this meeting, for the candid conversations and the openness to be able to continue exploring different topics in such a respectful way. And so thank you for the great work that we're also doing. Student trustee, it's always such a pleasure to have you here and bring that voice of students. So with that, we have future agenda items. And I know that throughout the meeting, we talked about 2 of them already. Anything else? There is an annual calendar of board items, so you will see they're listed. And so it has the topics of when things are typically addressed, but also as agenda items for future come to the board and they're approved by the consensus of the board, they will be added to the calendar. So that way trustees know at any given time when an agenda item that they request and it's the consensus of the board to be able to also discuss that matter, it will be placed there. So any further items besides the 2 that were mentioned?
Chair Torres.
Trustee Lito?
Several meetings ago, I brought up the issue of the 50% law and kind of where we are with that from the standpoint of a district. We did get some information at a ASC meeting about our compliance and kind of where we sit there. We got a bunch of information from the district office. I'm wondering if the other trustees are interested in having a, I hate to say another study session, so I like your idea. As long as we can be this efficient, we could probably take 20 minutes and, talk about some of these topics, but we have a law that we're living under that's 65 years old, hasn't changed, and that has kind of set the funding formula for and protocols for our funding. And I think it is important for us to advocate for, if not change, at least discussion about how that impacts us. And I know that the districts are very good at making sure that we balance from that standpoint. But I think from a legislative standpoint, I think it's time to review this, what I would call antiquated law. Well, I shouldn't say antiquated because it's only a year older than I am. But so I think we should, as trustees, I think it's worth a discussion.
Okay, so I know Trustee Lichto mentioned it as an item to discuss. Is there a consensus with the board to be able to add this also on the calendar for discussion only? I mean, we're just discussing it, no actions are being made, and it's to know a little bit more about what it means, history about it. And I think because there was a conference and it was mentioned, and so there's some interest, and I believe a discussion took place at the Administrative Services Committee with the 2, I believe at the time was Trustee Lichto and Trustee Chancellor. So with this board, is there an interest to be able to look further into
I heard the
this?
same presentation that Trustee Lickle heard at the CCLC conference. I think it was back in May, and I agree that it hasn't been updated in a very long time, and it would be ideal to have looked at this sooner so that we could go up to Sacramento this weekend and talk about it, but that's not going to be possible, obviously. But if we can, work on that at some point, coming up here, then at least the next time we're talking to legislators, we can talk about it.
Okay, Trustee Mantu?
Would not be opposed to further discussion about this, but I would want the focus to be more on legislative advocacy rather than another explanation of what it is. And I think we need to take the temperature of other community colleges and the community college board on where this sits in priority order with all of the other things that we're going to be advocating for, and what kind of traction and what's the likelihood of moving the needle.
Trustee Chancellor? Okay, okay. So this will be it will be added to the calendar, and the district will be providing a presentation with the items you just mentioned for the board. Okay, so if there is no further items, and seeing that there isn't any further,
There were several items that we discussed at the end of last month's meeting, which we still need to get calendared as well.
so is that? Let me open
Just
up those
as a
items.
reminder, Chair Torres.
So there was, and I'm going to open this document because I believe I might have seen them listed here. They're not necessarily calendar in yet, but they're on the calendar. And I want to gather just board consensus, just because as we're going to do this work, it's important to ensure that we're all in agreement that this is something that we want to see for the board. So what I have here is flag policy. Is that one of them? Is there board consensus that we want to discuss the possibility of a flag policy? Is that what we're discussing? Or is it something that's going to be brought later? And I want to make sure that I'm interpreting it correctly, Chancellor.
Going to be receiving proposed flag policy soon. And so that one the board did agree that we needed, it was sent back to me to move it through our governance process, and it's been undergoing that process for some months now.
Okay.
Chair Torres, so will that go to either the ASC committee or PAS committee at some point, I assume? Is that going to be a 2000s policy, or is that a different area? Okay, good enough. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Trustee Pacheski?
My memory doesn't serve me.
Okay. So, and we can always bring it at the next board meeting. So, we are going to be adjourning, and we are going to be adjourning tonight's meeting in memory of Oxnard College computer networking instructor, Albert Wolfkill. And so we are adjourning this meeting in his memory, and appreciate everything he did for our district, for our college, and our students. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.